With Bettina visiting from Germany, it was time to make the most of the good weather before it changed. Our track for the day would take us to the northeast, up to the bottom end of Fraser Island, with a stop in Gympie just over halfway for a little bit of a further adventure.
See the tub and the glider behind him?
Yeah.
See it here?
Mm-hmm. Oh.
So we're taking off this way with the glider behind him. There he
I
is.
see.
Little did Bettina know that she'd be in exactly the same position, taking a launch and a glider later on in the day at the Gympie Gliding Club.
Outside air temperature is showing 32. So we have wind coming from the side, so I'm going to stay a little bit off the centre.
Okay.
Okay, line up.
Full on free.
Coming free, controls checked.
TNP
T's and P's
screen.
are in green, all correct, and I've got some of the temperatures I want.
Trim
Yep.
set.
Trim set neutral,
Fuel
fuel
on.
and it's on, and the fuel pump is on.
Okay, wrap set.
Lap set at
Lap set. I
one
can't
set.
really read it.
RPM, takeoff speed, and okay.
Yeah.
Alright, you good to go?
Okay.
You happy?
Yeah.
Let's go. Traffic Kingaroy, Chapter 507, rolling runway 16, departure to the northeast.
I convinced Bettina to take the controls and then pointed out she was the one flying. This comes in handy when I have to complete cockpit logs, check charts and so on, and I was going to be flying into an area that I didn't know, so great if the passenger can just hold track straight ahead, level, and keep us going. And here we are flying parallel to the Gympie runway on the downwind leg to do a landing on 14 and visit the Gympie Gliding Club. After landing at Gympie, my good friend Milan offered to take Bettina for a glider flight in the Sunshine Coast Gliding Club ASK 21. She had about 41 minutes and flew along the ranges for quite a pretty flight. After taking off from Gympie for Rainbow Beach, lunchtime was declared and Bettina proceeded to do lunch even without a tray table in sight. served in the cabin. Over with lunch, that was just about long enough to get us to the coast, and here we are approaching Rainbow Beach. We're going to run up the beach, which is a designated road, and head up to the tip of Fraser Island for a quick look before returning to Kingaroy. Time to have a good look at the Wide Bay Bar. This is where all the water between Fraser Island and the mainland of Australia spills out or in from the sea. It's quite a treacherous bar crossing if you're on a yacht or in fact any kind of vessel, and it's very important to keep in the within the designated markers, and you can see it is quite tumultuous down there in the water. And the shoals are very, very evident. Flying over the Wide Bay Bar, I did recall quite a few crossings and sailing boats, some smooth, some not so, but at all times you did keep a good sharp eye on your track. Here we are looking from Wide Bay Bar and Inskip Point, where the ferry goes across to Fraser Island, looking down the coast to Rainbow Beach, and at the far end Double Island Point with a very important lighthouse that's still in use today. For yachties and boating enthusiasts in general, what Rainbow's Beach is for surfers and paragliding pilots. Flying from the coast to Kingaroy, you're always on the lookout for landing options if the motor should shut down. So we do have to fly over Talara, a huge plantation. At this time, you're spotting where would I land if the engine went out, and sometimes there may be no other options than a road. It's quite an extensive forest. And an interesting fact, all the trees, they're all one. Every single tree in the plantation is a clone. that means consistent growth and so on, but the danger is you get a disease in there, you lose all your stock because they all have the same resistance. Soon we found ourselves back at Kingaroy, and just before going to land, decided to do a couple of laps around home and have a look from the air. Of course, there's Gudrun waving at us. Yeah, we didn't see her, but we told her we did. We've had a great day. We've been very lucky with the weather. Bettina's had a couple of adventures, light plane flying over to the coast, a bit of gliding at Gympie, and here we are on final, a bit of a crosswind to wind up a really pleasant day. Officially approved.
Cross, I didn't account for it early enough. Perfect Kingaroy, J230.
And here Bettina discovers headset hair. And that brought us to the end of the day with about 400 kilometers flown in the Jabiru and a further 40 minutes or so in a glider for Bettina.